Hi, friends. It is Cortney here, and you are watching Cosmically Connected. I am so thrilled. It is Wednesday, and I'm so thrilled to be here with you guys. We are going to have a great conversation, a great discussion tonight, talking about protecting our energy from negative sources and some of those steps on how to do that. So, if you're interested, if you're so excited about this, let me know. I already see some people really excited about tonight. And so, guys, thank you for being here. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You're already here. Go ahead and hit it. Share this to your friends, and let's have everybody join us. So, guys, before we jump into everything, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping this evening. There are so many amazing events coming up, so many really cool experiences that Forbidden Knowledge is putting on, that I myself are putting on, and I'm so excited to be able to share these with you. And so most of you know, if you're at all following any of us on Forbidden Knowledge, you know that the Amazing Conscious Awards are coming up next weekend. No, is it next weekend? It's not this weekend, it's the following weekend. So that is going to be July 30th on Sunday in Miami, and there are a few tickets left. And so I hope that if you are within the vicinity, if you are excited and feeling like this is going to be a pull for you to come visit, come meet everybody, this is going to be a really cool opportunity to meet everybody on the Forbidden Knowledge team, to meet so many people that were nominated for these amazing awards. I'm super excited. This is the first annual event. And so again, I hope you guys will be there. It is in Miami. Again, this is the Conscious Awards, and this is the first annual Forbidden Knowledge Awards. And so this, I believe, is going to be such a beautiful experience. And I'm be at the first one. So guys, you can have the opportunity to be at every one thus far. So I hope that you'll join us there. I also have an amazing retreat coming up called Connecting to the Light Retreat. And this is going to be in Sonoma Wine Country in California. And this event is something that I'm super excited about. I've got I think there's 3 rooms left. And this is a retreat, a weekend retreat where you can come, bring your best friend, bring your husband, your partner. We do have some couples already coming. I'm so excited to put this retreat on. We will be connecting to our guides and angels in a very beautiful a group experience, a group session, and it's going to be so amazing. We're going to be connecting to your guides, your angels, your galactic team, and connecting to so much more in the beautiful, turning off my phone, everybody, nobody needs that on. We are going to be connecting on the beautiful grounds at the Montage Resort. Guys, this place is so beautiful. It's like I've been to very beautiful places, beautiful, nice, wonderful, hotels and retreat centers and things like this. This place is such a peaceful retreat place in a hotel, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to be having this amazing retreat there. I've got my dear friend, psychologist Dr. Rose Moten, who you guys have had here. I've had her on this podcast before. She's going to be coming and doing sound healing for us there at the retreat. And then also another beautiful friend of mine, she's a doctor and an acupuncturist out of Michigan, and she is going to be providing us Qigong, and then also helping us with doing this beautiful meridian hike around the grounds and their hiking trails, which is a really, really beautiful place on the property that we're going to get to venture to. There's going to be daily yoga, an amazing 8-course dinner, which I'm so thrilled about. And then, of course, private sessions if you choose to do that. And again, that sound healing, so many beautiful experiences at this retreat. It's going to be August 11th through August 14th. There are 3 rooms left. And so you're going to, if you're interested, go book at CortneyKaneSides.com, and it is under offerings under the Connecting to the Light retreat. So I hope I will see you there too. We've got another thing that I'm announcing. They just put it out today, guys, and I'm so excited to be part of this Forbidden Knowledge tour. You know, we were in Detroit in June, and now I'm getting to come back and go to Manchester, to the UK, and I'm so thrilled to be able to be at this amazing UFO, paranormal, and spiritual expo. This is going to be an amazing event. And this is one of the largest events, paranormal UAP events in the world. It's going to be in Manchester. And guys, I know there are tickets left there. I'm going to be connecting to your galactic team, connecting to those guides and angels for you there, doing those beautiful paintings. And if you are in London, if you are in Manchester, if you are in the UK, make sure you get the tickets and come and see me, come and see the whole team. I can't wait to see you there. Now, if you all will do me a favor, let's all take a good deep breath in. Those were all of my housekeeping duties I needed to do today, let you know all the news coming up. So everybody take a good deep breath in with me, if you will. Big exhale out. And let's call on those guides and angels, and then let's get into our topic, okay? So guides and angels on our right, guides and angels on our left, guides and angels in front, and guides and angels in back to balance and harmonize our time here, leaving us in the light and allowing nothing but the highest, the truest, or the best to manifest upon us now. All right. So many of us, especially I know many of you guys that are coming back to this podcast every week. Many of you are feelers. Many of you are extremely intuitive and bright people. Very often we feel so much in our daily lives with the world around us, with our family, with friends, coworkers, all of that. And it is very normal to become sometimes very overwhelmed with negative energy. If you understand what I'm talking about, do me a favor and leave some comments here. Give me an emoji so I know that you're understanding that very often you pick up on energy that is around you. And again, sometimes this is a negative energy. Tonight, we're going to talk about ways to, first of all, acknowledge and know that this energy is not yours, but maybe how to even protect your energy from soaking up all of this energy that is not serving you, that is actually hindering your full purpose, your full connection to yourself. Very often, when we're talking in terms of wanting to connect to our energy, sometimes when we are feeling overwhelmed, when we are feeling anxious, depressed, when we're feeling nervous, when we are not in our highest form of like mental health, emotional health, well-being, when we're not grounded, we are very susceptible. I say that and I want to take a breath in, reestablishing my space and bubble of protection. When we are not grounded, we are more susceptible of picking up that lower grade energy. And so that is why when we are empathic beings, when we are feelers, it's extremely, I believe, extremely important for us to learn how to bubble up our energy, protect our energy, and have those certain steps that help us connect to our light. Jacqueline says, absolutely. Negative energy rips me. I feel like it is suffocating. It does. It is suffocating very often. And if you all are frequent listeners here on this podcast and watchers, you will notice, and it's not necessarily because of negative energy, but if when I'm saying something and I feel that overwhelm in my body, you will see me stop even mid-sentence and breathing that energy out, because I know that if I'm energetically overwhelmed, if I'm feeling everybody else's everything too much, I'm no longer really of the highest service to my own soul, my own energy. And so that, first of all, the first, maybe call it symptom or a beautiful sign that you're maybe susceptible to negative energy is overwhelm, is that anxiousness, feeling as though you're not grounded. And so a beautiful thing for you to do when you notice that you're overwhelmed is not to stress out about that necessarily, but come back to that breath. And when we're exhaling, what I'm imagining, and some of you might have heard this from me before, is I'm protecting my own energy with this beautiful bubble of protection. And you will feel other healers, other light workers communicate to you about how to do this bubble of energy. And for me, it is moment by moment with that breath. And so when you notice that you are feeling that overwhelm, if you notice that you are feeling so many different things outside of yourself, that exhale, and I'm talking for me, it helps me get that overwhelming energy at an arm's length so that then I can define, first of all, if this is my energy or somebody else's, if this is something that's serving me, if there's action that needs to be taken, or if I'm truly picking up on somebody else's negative energy. And that breath helps get it outside of your body, outside of your energy, so that you can have that arm length space, that distance, so that you can then define this, so that you can ask more questions about, what am I feeling? Is this mine? Is this somebody else's? And then maybe, what can I do with it? Do I have to speak up and create boundaries with a person that you are in, the vicinity of? Is this a family member? What is this energy? As I say that, take a breath with me. Big exhale out. And when we're taking that breath and creating that space for ourselves, okay, we are then realizing that we are worth this beautiful bubble of, call it, protection. And again, many of you understand and have heard me say this. On the inside of that bubble are mirrors, and all of that good energy, that space that is needed, that boundary that you command in your life is there, and ricocheting all of the good energy you're putting into your life. And on the outside of that bubble are mirrors, and that the negative energy from any outside source that is not of your highest, your truest, and your best literally will ricochet off of that bubble and go right back to wherever it came from. You're not sending negative energy to other people. You're simply saying, this does not serve me. Okay. Chastity says, you've helped me so much. This is exactly what you've taught me. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Danny says, Jen Hartman, in a big city, you have to watch out for broken glass and other people's lost belongings that you can trip on. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Probably a comment up above. All right, my dear. So it is one of those things where us having the awareness really does help with being able to define what it is we're connecting with. Now, if we're noticing that we're feeling a lot of negative energy, it's not always up to us to dissect it. And what I mean by that, if you realize that this energy is not yours. Oh, Danny says walking barefoot. Thank you for that, Danny. I understand now. If you realize that energy is not yours, we don't have to get sidetracked on our path to try to figure out, why am I feeling this? If you've realized that this energy is not yours. Okay. And so with that being said, really watching that the energy of what you're allowing in your life. So that can be with your friends or those coworkers. Watch your engagement. Take a breath as I say it. Watch your engagement energetically with the people coming around you. Do you react rather than respond? Are you adding to the negative energy? And first, before we think again that this is everybody else and not us, we want to really come back to our own self-work, our own self-awareness, and dissect our own energy, and breathing their energy back to, again, wherever it came from, bubbling your own energy back up, and allowing you space to feel your own energy, making that clear division of yours and theirs. Okay. That also means watching, again, your mindset. Okay. Now, guys, some of this, we have to choose to watch our mindset. We have to choose to get up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to set a beautiful, positive intention and connect to my intention for the day. Connect to the energy that I'm wanting to rise to throughout the day, and visualize this energy. That visualization is extremely important when we are trying to really build a positive life, positive energy for ourselves. And so even just waking up and having a beautiful mantra, having a beautiful, a verbiage, a prayer, a connection, something that you really relate with, and even putting that on your mirror or something like that can literally protect you. I know it sounds ridiculous, and for some, you might even need a million more steps to help you come back to that center and connect to your divine energy. Jacqueline says, visualizing joy. I love that. I love it. So those are some really beautiful tips. And again, protecting. So I always say breathe, bubble, protect, and then define. Let's say that again. Breathe, bubble, protect, and then define. So defining that energy so that we can then, this is the thing, you later will notice negative energy kind of coming your way at times. And as somebody's speaking to you and you can see that they're complaining over and over and over, right? How many of you have people that come up to you and just kind of unload that energy? Let me see emojis, or say me. That happens to me all day long, right? When we are empathic beings, very often people crave conversation from us because we are space holders. As I say that, I take a breath in. On my exhale, I'm creating that space for myself. So that breath, while somebody might be standing next to you and spewing their frustration for the day, or they're always complaining, or whatever, when we're empathic, very often we will go home with this energy. It's almost like we've been slimed, is it not? We go home, I see Penny says me, Chastity says all day, Jessie says me all the time. Yes, it's a very common thing, right? And Penny says from miles away, I feel it. Guys, we can be feeling this negative energy coming around from all over the world. Okay. I say it, I breathe it out, because that energy does not resonate with where my intention is for my life, my heart, myself, my own energy. Okay. Yes. And so it's extremely important for us to understand that coming back to our own beautiful, safe space and bubble of protection, that intention of peace and light, and us resonating at our highest frequency, again, it's just so important. Jennifer says slimed. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? And so what you'll notice, again, I digress. So when that person's coming to you and you see them walking, you can tell a mile away, you're like, oh my gosh, every day she comes to my office and and it's valid, and you understand it, and you don't want to be mean. So if you can't quite say yet, you know what, this conversation isn't really helping me, how can we find a better solution? If you can't be clear with your words, which I highly suggest getting to that point, by the way, if you can't be clear with your words, make sure with your breath, you're breathing this energy out. You're not inhaling their energy. And you can do it in a way that doesn't feel like you're exhaling and being rude necessarily, but you can, as they're speaking, moving their energy, their words, and moving it outside of your bubble of protection, outside of that boundary that you've created, and you give it back to let them carry it. We don't need to carry their energy for them. And this is something, as empaths, most empaths want to protect. They want them to feel better. We want to serve. We want to help, right? But when we do that, it actually depletes us and depletes us and depletes us and depletes us. And it actually allows us not to do and put forth our divine gift and energy. And so it's really better, that breath, to see it as a tool. And it's my favorite thing, by the way. I do it all day long, and you will hear me talk about that breath on every damn topic that I talk about on this podcast. Every session I have with a client, every private session, every group session, you will hear me talk about that breath over and over again. And it is because it works. And we have been taught not to count on it. And it's free, guys. And that's all we truly need, is to come back to creating space, breathing in our stuff, and sending out what no longer serves us. Now, with that being said, if we're the negative ones, we need to work on that. And all of us have been there. All of us have bad days. Last week, I had some frustrations come up. We had a leak in the house. We had this and that. And there was a day I was like, but even my own stuff, taking a breath in, processing, breathing, and moving through it, and not staying in it and sitting in the hurt, negativity, frustration, all of that. Mitchie says it hurts. Wish they had a miracle for healing. They use, witchcraft, people since way back. People do. Some people believe that others have that ability to put, things upon another. We must be so clear in our own energy, in our own bubble of protection. We must know and be able to define ourselves so clearly that you have the power to connect to pure source, your pure light. And I don't believe that anybody has the power to do anything over us in that way. Now they can try, but you better know, that you are protected because you just simply are. And you have the power to do that. We don't necessarily have to go to somebody to do this. Okay. So that's extremely important. Another way, if you are feeling, say, quite overwhelmed, at the end of the day, you can even do this in the beginning of the day. If you wake up and you're connecting to your own frustrations or whatever, right? In that shower, feeling the truth of that energy, not sugarcoating it, not making it nice, not pretending that everything's butterflies and roses, because we are all human, right? But when you're in the shower, almost seeing the stress or the worry, that negativity, what no longer serves you, can move down your body and go through that drain. That water acting as that conductor and removing that from your connection of energy, from your source. After we're done doing that, though, making sure when you're out of that shower, out of that tub, wherever you're wanting to do this, when you're done doing that, making sure, this is my belief, by the way, to make sure that you fill back that bubble of light, that bubble of protection with really beautiful happiness, joy, a color even. I always say I feel so much that I feel in color. And if many of you are clients of mine and understand that I paint during my private sessions, and I see color come through as feelings and emotions. And so for me, and this might not resonate with you, but for me, when I'm coming back to my own bubble of protection, very often I infuse that bubble with a beautiful color, a color that feels uplifting, a color that feels like source, like light, like power, and the highest of powers. For me, that is gold. Okay. For me, that is the highest connection to source. And it reminds me that I too am connected in that energy. That knowing, and you knowing, like you know, that you are so protected in that space, is going to be something that many other people in this world are not taught. It's a shame, by the way. It's a shame. But those of us who can embody that knowing and share that knowing with the world and our friends and the people around us, I'm telling you, you're changing lives. You're showing people by being the example of connection, good energy, and how you're also not going to participate within the negativity. Okay. So this in time, and by the way, this might not happen overnight for you. You might notice that it takes time for you to really build up that knowing and that assurance in yourself to know that when you do that, that it is so. It might take time in your confidence to know, that you've got everything it takes to stand strong and firm in that bubble of protection. You do have the authority and the awareness to do this. And I think having somebody come in clear spaces, sage or clear energy, I think it's amazing. I think that's wonderful. If you feel like that is what's needed. But if you feel and you are in that awareness and that knowing, I don't believe you need to go to anybody to do that. And so that is what I teach. And so that is what I share. And when I say teach and share, my intention is not for my clients or people to have to come to me to have anything. I share what works for me. And I hope that others will find whatever it is that works for them, whether it's somebody else's stuff, my stuff, their own stuff, whatever. Own it and handle it. Laura says, my mom, OMG, when I think I'm good, bam, there she goes. I have to keep space between it. So Laura, you say that. And even when typing that, guys, this is a really beautiful example. And Laura, so thank you for sharing that and even being so brave as to put that here. So I appreciate you when you say that. When you think something like that, make sure, and I always say from the tip of the toe, when you think that that's, first of all, it's such truth for you, my friend. When you think it and it brings up emotion in your body, that's time to take a breath in and you show gratitude for that awareness. Thank you for the awareness that is mine. Thank you to that energy. Thank you to your mother for being a teacher on my path. I'm asking nothing but the highest truths or the best to manifest upon us now. When you exhale that energy out, you're not saying, thank you, Mom, for constantly getting me back into that energy. You're saying, thank you for being a teacher on my path. And maybe it's a thank you for showing me not what not to do. Maybe it's a gratitude for showing you what does not serve you, and maybe what you're going to be changing in that family system. So this negative energy isn't always something to be a thorn in your side all the time, guys. This negative energy isn't there to frustrate you. And by the way, it keeps us, we all have it. Again, we're all human. None of us are perfect. But the quicker we notice it, the quicker we can define it, the quicker we can see and change that vibration within your own energy. I'm telling you, the quicker you will notice that you no longer connect with any of that energy. What will happen in time is you will notice that when that person from the office that always stands by the door and talks about everybody else, and you understand where she's coming from, what's going to happen is you're going to notice that you're always up doing something else when she comes by. You're going to be so busy doing other things. It's because you're vibrationally not in alignment any longer. When we start to notice these things, this is amazing to watch this awakening that happens. So while we're talking about negativity tonight, we're talking about connecting to our own positive energy and steps to maybe distance ourselves from that, gain awareness, and steps to come back to our own knowing. What you're going to find again is that your life changes. This is not a pretty promise, by the way. This is not saying, oh, follow this mantra and follow this, light worker and all of these things and everything's going to change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you hear all of this and this sounds really great, but then we don't really establish a new routine in our energy and our mindset and our awareness and our knowing and our protection of that own bubble and creating space, it's just words. They're empty words that we're talking about tonight. But if you're going to start to establish this new awareness and actually going to garner you taking space for your truth, clarity. I'm speaking to a client here, by the way, somebody who had a session this week, and I saw you on here, my friend. Clarity. Negativity, by the way, isn't always well, let me say it in this way. Us being in our bubble and having to speak up about boundaries and needing clarity and still speaking our truth, just because it might be a hard conversation, doesn't always mean that we're participating in the frustration or the negativity, by the way. If it's conducive for change and we watch how we respond rather than react, by the way, again, no judgment. We're all human. I react sometimes. I try more so to respond in my life than anything else. But if you're watching that can also be, those are little steps to help you move through. So watch the negative energy. If it's bothering you for a reason. It's bothering you so that you can remember that you have tools to return back to your own awareness, your own knowing. And it's time for you to either set those boundaries energetically with the breath, with the other tools we're going to get to, or speak up the boundary out of your voice, which is also really beautiful. I see you, and really worthy, by the way. And so I'm super excited that you guys will have some of these tools. Many of you have probably heard it before, but you're just needing to hear it again. Frank says, I've been dropping little bits of positive energy at my job, and these guys are all starting to see changes out here. It does. It happens, right? Penny says, Frank, that is so awesome. And so, Lee says, why do you think there are so many vampires out there? I came across something. And this, yes, thank you, Ethan. Everybody like and share this. Do me a favor. We want everybody watching these amazing podcasts. We want this forbidden knowledge to do such beautiful work. And I'm telling you, all of the shows here on this network, everybody's working so hard. I'm going to get to see them next week. I'm so excited. We truly are a family. And any of your support, whether that is subscribing, liking this, commenting your reviews, watching all of that, it means the world to us. So thank you for that. And yes, like Ethan said, like and share, please. It means the world. But it's extremely important for us to make sure that we are coming back to, that bubble, knowing what works for us versus what doesn't. Okay. So what might work for me might not work for the next person. Okay. So again, we talked about breath, bubbling, protecting, defining that energy. And of course, that shower is a beautiful tool. And watching, again, mindset. So for me, when I think of mindset, it's really watching your own emotional awareness moment by moment. That doesn't mean sugarcoating the hard stuff. You see my face. It means fully feeling it, communicating with your breath, having the hard conversations, not coming from a place of anger, but maybe awareness with it, communicating and moving through those things. You will find your relationships change. You will find your interaction with the world around you changes. It's really, really a beautiful thing. It doesn't mean it happens overnight, but it does, I tell you. Somebody earlier was talking about walking, grounding, barefoot. Yes, that is something that I do. It's something that I require. You will hear Elizabeth speak on it often. Many people talk about earthing, taking your shoes off, recouping your energy and coming back to your fullness, maybe even at the end of the day, middle of the day. If you're at work and you have a moment and there's grass by the office, take your shoes off and just go walk. You will watch there be such change happen in your life. Sarah says she's grounding right now. Good. I'm so happy. Send that grounding energy to us. We will take it. That is such an important. I just felt chills, by the way. I think she's doing it. That is such a beautiful, free thing to do, by the way, guys. We are born and they throw rubber on the bottom of our feet, and we're disconnected. We're not recharging our energy. And just having that bit of, barefoot in the grass on earth really does help us. I just remembered something. I was going to answer a question about vampires. I got off track. We're going to come right back to it. But having our feet on the earth, again, is such a beautiful, vital, free tool, guys, that you can refer back to at any time. Okay. If you're overwhelmed, if you're cranky, if you need a little space and time, go and do that breathing. Visualize that bubble of protection coming around you and put those feet flat on the earth and just simply walk. Yes, so beautiful. Okay. So with the the question about the energy vampires, they are out there. So many out there. That breath as they're talking, as somebody is talking to you, and you exhaling as they're speaking. That's something that I do a lot. If I think something that isn't conducive to where I'm wanting to go energetically, if it's a negative thought, if it's a hard emotion or negative emotion that's not serving me, then I acknowledge it. I show gratitude for it. I don't try to sugarcoat and avoid feelings. That's what we're not going to do. Okay. But I notice it. I have awareness. I ask myself, do I need to process this for me? Is this something I need to heal? Ask yourself those questions. And then if it's all good, it's all rosy after that, fine, exhale the energy out, right? But when you're connecting with other people and their energy, that suckage that they do on your pure light, on your energy, is something that we can become ill. We can have emotional problems because we're letting people take too much. We decline. And you will see many, again, light workers, mediums, psychics, all of, many people that work with the community give so much and not ever take space and time for themselves, so that they later then have nothing more to give. And they're also feeling negative and hurt, and they're not healthy. And so for us to be really healthy, that boundary of protection is really vital, so that we can understand that those energy vampires, or the people trying to take, are not necessarily serving us. So having that awareness of this is really, I believe, massively key. And even remembering, it's not being maybe vengeful or extracting people always from your life, but it's having the awareness that maybe their energy is no longer serving you, or maybe it's time for you to get into different circles, if that makes sense. Okay. But there was something I came across, and this was something years ago that I saw, that a teacher had said something. I can't remember who this was. This was not my information. But they were referencing not looking people in the eyes when somebody was truly like negative or having a hard time necessarily, maybe looking at the tip of their nose, maybe looking at an eyebrow, because it looks like you're looking at them, but you're almost like off. They were saying, and I believe this, the eyes are the, windows or the doors to the soul, right? And so when we are engaging with somebody, there is an energetic exchange. Okay. And so their mindset, I don't do this, but this is something that somebody references as something that has helped them. But again, just looking at something close to the eye, but maybe not quite the eye. So I encourage you to try that and see if that works, and maybe even report back to us. So next week, next podcast, let us know if that worked for you this week. If you will notice that was a really beautiful tool for you, I would love to hear that. Laura, my friend, thank you so much for that. That means the world to me. Again, you are supporting so many of us here at the Forbidden Knowledge family, my own personal family, my connection. We all try very hard to make sure that we are investing in these beautiful podcasts with equipment and time and all of that. And so thank you, Laura. I so appreciate that. Now, again, we said walking and grounding. Something that has helped me lately is sitting in the sun. I have always been very fair complected, always have had to be very careful with sun tanning. I usually burn really bad. And so I've never really been a sun goddess, if you will. And so, but this last year, I've really found myself, I don't want to say baking, but I want to say baking, really craving that warmth and that heat. And for me right now, it does feel as though it is clearing my space and clearing my energy. And so Chastity says the sun has been exceptionally healing this summer. Well, there you go. So anybody else noticing that they're craving that sunlight, craving the heat, craving the warmth, let me know if there's anybody else feeling that. Super interesting. So that's something that's helping me. King Henry says the sun is sending us DNA upgraded light codes right now. Thank you. So see, we all learn something new. So when you feel that energy that it's time to go sit in the sun, put your feet in the grass, really listen to your body. Guys, we are all intuitively aware. I say intuitively, psychic, whatever you want to call it, gut instinct. We're all feelers and knowers of our true energy and our true selves. And I hate the labels, by the way. They really mean nothing. You have gifts and abilities in the way that I do. We all have them. And it's extremely important, I believe, to awaken to our full light so that we can then really step into our full potential here on earth. Okay. So that sun is amazing. Now, I saw somebody earlier say, what about smudging? What about salt? Absolutely. Some of my favorite things, I have a big smudge stick right here, which I do use this here and there. Clearly it's burned. But smudging is always a really great way to clear your energy, clear your home, clear your office. If you're somebody who is really sensitive to smell, then maybe getting, sage essential oil, using the spray bottle and mixing that with one of the mini mixers that you can use. That's a really beautiful way to just make your own sage spray, or you can buy it. There's many different places that you can purchase that from. And using that in your home, in your office, is a really great way to just clear the space. If you're feeling negative, or say that there's been an argument between family members and you can walk in and you just feel it, it's time to sage. It's time to clear the space. And so saging, again, really, really amazing tool to use, and it's been there forever. Hello. Yes. Kay Ross says, yes, definitely even more energizing when near water. I love that. Yes. Let's see here. Yeah. So another thing that I do is also, once I'm done clearing the space, so clearing the negative energy out, I always come back in with using Palo Santo and bringing in the want to fill the home. And so what is your positive intention? When I'm walking around my home, you guys have heard my spiel, my mantra, my prayer before. I always ask that nothing but the highest truths or the best manifest upon us now, and abundance finds me in all forms. And so that is a mantra that even while saging or clearing the space in my home, I say that over and over again. And so that's something that I'm truly connected with. And when I say that, I feel like that is such massive core truth for me that it holds a lot of power. And so you guys can absolutely use that, of course. But then if you have another intention or mantra or prayer of connection or something that speaks to you, make sure that you're using it, because you connecting to those words, you connecting to that energy is going to give it power. And so you watching that and then creating almost your own routine of clearing the space and then commanding this beautiful energy in your home or just within your bubble of connection. That breath, with every breath of awareness, it is so. It is so. And so command that energy. Yes, another one of my favorites, guys, is salting. King Henry says sage, Palo Santo, and cider mixed together is a powerful mix. Try it. I love that. Thank you, King Henry. I appreciate it. The salting is one of my favorite things to do. My dear friend Sandy Sue, you guys will see her again this next year. Every year in my own personal work and my VIP inner circle, I always have her come in. She is a feng shui master, and she has been my feng shui master turned friend for the last 14 years. She is amazing. She's out of Phoenix, and she is an incredible teacher when we're talking about removing negative energy from our physical spaces and homes. And I love her. And so we will have her back on. Usually I bring her on the podcast around December, January, February, and we talk about different, ways to clear your own home of negative energy. And she is a really, really great resource for us. And I will share some of those things that she has taught me through the years in just a moment. But she is one that says not just salting. You will hear people talk about salting the perimeter of your home. So with that being said, I usually do right up around my house or right around the full property line of your home. And so you don't have to just pretend it's fertilizer or be the crazy woman or man out in the yard. It doesn't matter. But just take, salt and go out and just salt the property, salt the perimeter. And when I'm doing that, I'm understanding, I'm visualizing, I'm seeing that bubble of protection that I put around myself. I'm putting that around my home and then the property. Okay. And so when you're doing that, if you've got to know, that you hold the power to do so, that you hold the power to connect this positive energy in your spaces, just that alone, guys, will simply clear your spaces. I'm telling you. And so again, salting those properties, especially if say it's a new home or anything like that, that's always really important to do, to clear out the energy of the old homeowner so that it can be a clear energetic space for you to move in. Penny, my friend, thank you so much for that. I so appreciate that. Again, it helps everything. So thank you so much. I've got amazing staff that helps me in my business and my work. So that always is so beautifully needed and appreciated. Thank you, Penny. Penny says, yes, it works. Salting is a necessity. I love that. Jennifer, you can use table salt. Sandy Sue uses, is it Epsom? There's another one. It's a coarse salt. I know somebody else is going to say it. But it's the intention behind it. It's the intention and the energy behind it. So do this, okay? King Henry says, with a good Tibetan singing bowl to vibrate the high vibrations after the smoke is in the air, it enhances the effect of the sage smoke. That is so true. Thank you for that. And also it could be a singing bowl. It could be a bell that you kind of tune as well. And so that is extremely helpful. Penny says sea salt. Yeah, sea salt. I think it's and Himalayan salt. Yeah, you can use any of those, guys. It's your intention. It's your connection to this salt. Such a pure substance that kosher salt. Thank you, Jacqueline. I think it's kosher salt is the one I'm thinking of. Thank you so much. But you can use all of those other salts too. Himalayan's amazing, any of that. But kosher salt is the one that I'm thinking of. Thank you so much. But that salt, it absorbs the energy you're putting into it. Take a breath in. I say that I want to make sure my energy is clear. So I always constantly clear my energy out. When you've seen these podcasts and you see me stop, connect, breathe, all of those things, I'm coming right back to that breath. And that breath, I'm simply clearing the energy. What's really cool is you'll sometimes you might even notice like a overwhelm in my chest. I will have stopped breathing and I'll notice it. And that's why I stop, take a breath, and exhale it out. Sometimes it's after a hard word, a hard discussion, a hard moment with a client or a question. And the reason I breathe is so I don't absorb somebody else's energy. It's the whole reason I do that, guys. Bobby, my dear, thank you so much, my friend. I so appreciate that. That means the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Strong says, I want to know if you know of H. Blavatsky. I don't, but I want to look. Oh, Dr. Strange. I thought it said Dr. Strong. The doctor who delivered me was Dr. Strong. So that's where my head goes. But no, I don't, but I will check it out and see what that is. I love H. Look, I'm going to write it down, guys. See, we're all learning something here. Blavatsky. I like the last name. Okay. So salting. So again, intentions, guys. So those intentions, especially when we're salting, we're saging, even with the breath, all so important to do. And also your power sets the tone of it all. There, I get lots of questions from clients or people. Oh, I'm getting chills as I say that say, does somebody have the ability to do something or put something upon you? Everybody take a breath in, protect your energy. If you think they do, sure, they do. You better know, like you know, that you are in charge. You're the boss. This is your energy, and you get to rise to the frequency of this space of yours. Okay. And so if you think that you're susceptible, if you're sick, if you're not taking care of yourself, if I'm sick, let me tell you, I'm still strong and I'm still powerful. And I know that I will be healed and protected and connecting to the highest source of energy. So if you're not feeling well, if you are sick, take a breath and you muster the strongest, most beautiful golden light around you. And you know that you have the authority to call on the highest good for your own energy. If you think they do, sure they do. Not for me, my friend, not for me. I had a client a couple weeks ago that it was her first session with me. I do these group virtual sessions, which are so much fun. The private sessions, if somebody is not quite ready to book a private session, those beautiful group experiences is a great way for somebody to try this, but it also leads you the opportunity to see other people's deep connections or deep information and sessions that are coming through in their sessions as well. So it's a really cool experience. Anyway, a person had just had a session in that group. She was very happy with the information that came through, connected to a lot of it. There was a lot of confirmations made for her and validations. And at the very end of the group, she said, I have a question. She said, I saw you from the Forbidden Knowledge, podcast. And she said, I trusted you because of Billy Carson referred you and suggested. She said, but before I booked my session with you, she said, I wanted to, just have somebody else. And so she went driving around and she found a woman who, works as a psychic and went and did a session with her. And she said the session was good. She said she felt like she knew some things. There were some confirmations, but at the tail end of that session, the woman said, ma'am, you have X, Y, and Z connected to you. And this is extremely, this is not good. This is not good energy, very negative energy. And I can help you with this. And it is so extremely important that you do this. And not only is this now for you, but it's also for the reader. She said it's also for her now too, because she brought her into this karmic connection, this karmic cord. And she said, you have to do this ASAP. It is so vital because you're going to see, so many different things happen in your life. It was very terrible information she was telling her. And she said, I have to have $9,000 today And we are going to have to go through this ceremonial thing of burying it and leaving it. And, it's such a karmic thing that this is going to ruin us if we don't do this. Everybody take a breath with me. This sweet woman, she said, I'm worried. And if you're here, if that was you, I appreciate you. And we're sharing this because it's such a beautiful question, such vital information, such something that can teach and help all of us. She said, I'm so worried. I've been so stressed. She said, I clearly did not go back and give her $9,000. And I said, no, you were clearly being taken advantage of. And she would have, you would have left and she would have called her son and you guys would have dug up, or they would have dug up your money. It's fine. Guys, you have the power to connect to your full source of energy. If you want a session with somebody, that's amazing. A good session will tell you what you already know to be true, what you typically can feel for yourself. We can have some really cool things that come through that are surprises, sure, but we want to be skeptic about them until they fall into place. Or that's how I am, by the way. And so I want you to be really careful with feeling as though somebody has the authority over you. You are the one in charge. My father used to say, who's in charge? You're in charge. You get to decide what your bubble consists of. You get to decide the energy that you will and will not participate with. That doesn't mean life is easy always. It doesn't mean that hard things don't happen. It's not all, sugar-coated, happy always. But when it's hard, we can understand that we're learning and we're growing along the way. Taking that breath in to connect, asking ourselves, is this mine? Is this somebody else's? Breathing out and understanding we can take space for ourselves, creating really beautiful, positive, productive energy for ourselves, knowing like we know that we have the power to connect to good. We have the power to connect to the light. And that anything that is not of our highest, our truest, or our best, on our sole purpose, if it is not for that, it can come through into that bubble, ricochet, and go back to where it came from. The way I see that, guys, and this is my feeling, my awareness, my understanding, is that if hard things happen, it's because on a soul level, I need the lesson. You see my face? We all have them. On a soul level, we are moving through these things. And how can we take productive steps forward to move through it that's going to serve our highest, truest, and our best? Understanding that we are releasing the attachment and any negative energy at all. It's so important for you to know that you have the right to ward off any negative energy that no longer serves you, my friend, that no longer serves you. You are the boss of that. Jacqueline, thank you so much, my friend. I so appreciate that. It really does help so much when we are creating and showing up every week here. I love this podcast and I love showing up for you. Not just that, by the way, this Forbidden Knowledge World Tour is we are going so many places. There are, I said we're going to be in Miami, of course, for the Conscious Awards next week. Can't wait. August, I have that retreat in California. And then August 26th through the 28th, I think, or the 25th through the 28th in Manchester in the UK. It's going to be such an amazing event. But then there are also 4 other that I know of right now, Forbidden Knowledge Tour dates that I will also get to be there. So guys, if we are coming to your city, I would love to meet you all. I would love to connect to you guys in person. This is so much fun. I know in Detroit, we had many people fly in. It was in a sold out event and it was so cool to have a few of you come up and say, hey, I watched your podcast. That was the most fun thing ever. And so we're all connected here. And I know that when we are connecting in this amazing podcast, in this amazing Forbidden Knowledge family, in this work, I do know that we're actually putting more light and more positivity into this moment, into our day, into our life, into the world. And you guys are such a huge part of that too. And so I so appreciate you guys being here. Yes. Simon, when am I in Australia? Australia. Really good question. I have a few really great clients in Australia. We'll have to put that on the list. We will have to put it on the list for sure. Thank you, Chastity. Sarah says, I haven't been around for the lives in a while and I really missed it. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. These are really fun. I really love going live with you guys and always have such a great time myself. And so understand that, let me tell you this, when we're talking about negative energy, when we're talking about this podcast, when we walk away from something that feels good, when we walk away with like, that was great, even if it's hard conversation or hard work, we can tell when it feels like this was productive for me. That's a good indicator that something's really positive for us, by the way. Okay. And so when I jump off of these podcasts, by the way, as like I'm walking away feeling like this was fun for me. I really enjoy this too. And so I really want you guys to watch your energy level with your day, the world around you, and ask yourself, is this working for me? Is this working for me? It's a very cool, sweet question. You don't have to make massive changes unless you want to, or unless you feel like maybe I should. But get a notebook. I tell many of my clients and have for years that the notebook, the journal, I call it the I'm not crazy book. I like to write down data, if you will. And so this is a great exercise for you guys to kind of see what feels like it's charging me and what feels like it's taking or depleting my energy. And those things that deplete our energy, maybe trying to do less of that. Somebody might be like, going to work depletes my energy. Well, okay, is there something you can do about it? Is it there something that you can change your mindset, your attitude about it? I know when I was still in the corporate field and working for somebody else, I would go to work, and while working away, I would be listening to amazing podcasts. I'd be listening to, they were always UFO podcasts, which is hilarious with the network I'm on today. Podcast on conspiracy and all of those things. I love them so much. But when you're doing something that doesn't really feel like it's serving you, and you have the availability to put on headsets or a podcast, put this podcast on, go listen to us on Spotify, any of those things that will help serve your soul, you're going to balance out that negative or that harder energy. Okay. Yes. So tonight I want to say it one more time. By the way, subscribe here, please, guys. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're sharing it. That means everything to all of us here on the team, and I so appreciate it. So please do that. Again, tonight we talked about our breath, the breath of protection, right? That breath of connection, that breath of awareness. We talked about we talked bubbling up our energy, protecting our energy, and doing all of that helps, by the way, defining what it is we're feeling. Is this ours? Is this somebody else's? Is there something that I can do? Asking those questions is going to be really productive and very often very healing for you. So make sure you're doing that. Shower, that water acts as a conductor. So that's a really beautiful visualization to see that energy going down the drain, moving through. Really great. Mindset, intention, setting really beautiful, positive intentions. This is not about setting a beautiful mantra or intention and then walking away and doing negative all day long. That's not what I'm talking about. But watching your mindset moment by moment and allowing yourself to have and build awareness with this, you're going to see that shift and change in time. Yes, Darlene, that's right. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Darlene. And Dr. Strange says, I am thankful for my suffering. Everybody take a breath with that. Big exhale. Let me tell you this. Anything, and I could make a list like everybody else could, right? Everything that I've ever moved through in my life was serving a purpose. I didn't always like it, but my gosh, I would not have the awareness today. I wouldn't have the heart, the drive, the compassion, the experience if we didn't have that. And so thank you, Dr. Strange, for that. I appreciate that because that is so, so true. Lee says, yes, the environment is always favorable to elevate oneself. Yes, it is. Yeah. So yes, that mindset, walking, grounding, extremely important. Sitting in the sun, if that's what you're feeling, just follow what feels like it's serving you in that moment, right? Smudging, using that Palo Santo, salting your spaces, and setting those beautiful intentions. And to me, the most powerful, the most important point here is you owning and you knowing, like you know, that you have that power to connect, clear your energy, and you don't. I sage people's houses. I sage people's shore all day long. They don't need me. They don't. The sessions are beautiful. The sessions are amazing for sure, of course. But we can clear our own energy. So know that, know this. And I'm going to leave you with this. That one of my favorite phrases my father, Bill Sides, would say. And I said this earlier. Who's in charge? I'm in charge of this bubble, of this life, of this connection. I can protect my energy and I could ward off anything that was needed. Who's in charge? You're in charge. Own it and do the same. Guys, thank you for being here. Do me a favor, please share and like this podcast. Follow me. I've got my own personal YouTube page on YouTube. It's called Cortney Kane Sides Medium. Or actually, that's not true. It's called Cosmically Connected with Cortney Kane Sides. If you are on Instagram and Facebook, do me a favor there too. And please go like those pages. We are building those platforms. More fun, offering so many different things. And that is where I post all of my weekly paintings and all of the fun day-to-day stuff. So I hope you'll follow me there, guys. This has been such a fun conversation. I hope it's helped. And I will see you guys next week. Next week, when I see you, I will be in Miami, by the way. So that's going to be a fun one. It is not going to look like this. It's going to probably be with a little bit less of a quality camera, but it's going to be beautiful. So I will see you guys next week. And if you're interested, I hope to see you at the Conscious Awards in Miami. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.